Well, hello everyone. Happy Sunday to you. It is Ashley here from Lovely Commotion Preschool Resources, and I am excited to share with you today 10 engaging light table activities. So, if you have a light table, drop in the comments below. Let me know if you have one. We at our school have these awesome tabletop light tables. The profile of them is very small, so they're very nice for laying, just setting right on a table. And I love them because they are bright enough that they can be seen even with the windows open and all the lights on. So light tables have been something I've always wanted in my classroom, and I'm so grateful that I get to have one. I believe the one we have is Joni Craft, and it works fabulously. I love light tables because light up things are exciting. Children love light up things. They love light up shoes, light up swords, glow sticks, all those wonderful things they just love. And so a light table is already naturally engaging. And then you add some translucent, see-through manipulatives, and it's just like it just draws them in and draws their attention, and that is what I love about it. It's just another great place to insert some fun learning because it's already engaging just because it lights up. And so I have had my light table in my science center all year, and I always have it available. It's always out for them to use, and generally what I do is I'll trade out the manipulatives that are in there, and that works pretty well. I've been collecting and hoarding all of the translucent things, so when I'm out and about, I'm kind of surprised at actually the things that I found. If you go like to the craft stores, you can find table scatter, and a lot of times for different holidays, they are translucent. So I've got some translucent pumpkins and hearts. I've also found shapes like that, or buttons that are like on the screen right now. And Amazon's a amazing place to find translucent things, but also even like the Dollar Tree. Sometimes I'll find things there that are translucent. Dollar Spot, or I guess it's now Bullseye's Playground, a couple years ago had translucent dinos and little figurines and translucent cats and dogs, and so we love using those too. I just love being able to collect and just keep on hand all these different manipulatives that I can change out to keep the light table fresh. And so that's kind of how I've been doing it. But for a while now, I've noticed a pattern with the light table. I know the kids love it because they gravitate towards it. I know they try out the manipulatives, but I noticed depending on the manipulative, they may or may not have an idea in their head of what to do with that manipulative on the light table. Sometimes it feels obvious to them, and you will see them making their own patterns or making their own collage on there. You may see them automatically sort them because that's what makes sense in their brain. And I love the open-endedness of these activities, but I was also seeing that I would have students come, and if the manipulative wasn't as straightforward and it didn't automatically click to them what they should do with it, that they generally just, kind of played a little bit with it and then walked away. And so that kind of hurt my heart a little bit because I could see all the things they could do with that manipulative, but they weren't seeing it. So even though it was open ended, it was almost too open ended depending on the manipulative. Like, what am I even supposed to do with these things? And obviously, you can do anything you want, but some of them I found I needed to add some scaffolding. And while I've known that I needed to do this for quite a while, I finally got around to it. And so it's been working awesome. So basically, I just made some mats, some scaffolding mats to help them kind of guide their thinking. I don't necessarily use them as instruction, like you have to do this. No, it's just kind of there to kind of help with that organization of thought, and then they can take it from there. So today I want to share with you 10 of those. 10 of these engaging light table activities and what skills they cover, because light table is just another amazing, engaging way that we can bring fun learning into our classroom because it's already exciting because they light up, right? And so it's already an exciting piece in our classroom. So how can we use that in a way that they aren't just looking at it and then walking away because they don't know what they want to do? So that's what I created these for, and so far so good. They're working great. They're doing exactly what I was hoping they would do and scaffolding their learning and kind of guiding their thoughts. And so I want to share those with you today. See if you can get some ideas. First one up is simple sorting. I've got sorting mats for sort by 2, sort by 3, sort by 4, sort by 6. And so depending on the manipulative, I can put a mat down on the light table and provide these manipulatives. Now, they may sort them by color. That's awesome, right? They may sort them by shape. That's awesome too, and that's what this one is right here. I'm honestly can't remember where I found these awesome button see-through manipulatives, but they're pretty cool. I'm sure they're on Amazon somewhere, but I don't recall where I bought them. But these are just one thing you could use, right, for sorting. There's so many wonderful things you could use for sorting. They've got those round counting chips that you could use, bingo marker type things that are translucent. You could use different color vase filler, that those little pebbles, those glass type of pebbles. You could use those. I mean, there's so many endless things that you could use for sorting. And that's why I love the mat, because it's not specific to one specific manipulative, but you're able to provide that support for them to kind of guide their thought process. So there's a sorting one. I also have this sorting one. Oops, sorry about that. This one is those dinos I was talking about that I had found. And so this sorting is by 4, but it's obviously laid out horizontally. And so it makes it just a little bit different. Like they're lining them up, which I love. And so as you can see here, we're sorting by color. Could also totally sort by dinosaur. Could even go as far as sorting by who has wings. I mean, just the sorting, the classifying could go on and on. But just by providing the mat, this is what started happening. So that's exciting in itself. So obviously sorting. Color sorting is another one. This one, I know the orange is hard to see, but in person it was a lot better than this. These are just those counting chips. They're translucent, and so they're sorting by color. This is one I like to always try out at the beginning, these little colored ones, to see what they'll do with them. You can even use cups, right? Cups with the color, maybe Sharpied on the bottom of it for them to sort into. I like this mat because it could be used with all kinds of manipulatives that fall into these colors. But very simple, basic sorting activity, but we're providing that extra support for them so that they will be successful and they can see what they're learning. And then the next one is patterning. I like providing open pattern mats, but I also like to provide already started pattern mats, because many times I've found that with the open pattern mats, they will just go ahead and do A, B, A, B, A, B, because that's what's easiest to them. And so this kind of helps me push them a little bit further in their patterning and provide some mats with patterns already started. So like this one already has a green, yellow, yellow, green, and then the rest is left for them to fill in. And the one on, same with this one on the bottom, blue, orange, orange, blue, and then they're going to fill in the rest. And so it's already kind of started for them, but they can go ahead and extend it. And then I have blank ones of these too, so that they can make their own patterns with whatever is there. If it's small enough to fit in the box, the manipulative, if the manipulative is small enough to fit in the box of the pattern chart, then I will go ahead and put that out there as an option, because you can definitely add more than one mat and they can just trade it out. And that's worked really well too. I also love to sort numbers and letters, because this is something that gets confusing for them. And so I found these awesome ones on Amazon, and they were pretty decently priced, because sometimes it feels like translucent items can be kind of pricey, but they're fairly large, and so they're good to handle. But we're basically just sorting letters versus numbers, and this could be even a small group activity. You take your light table over to your small group area, or you just go to your light table and work with a group to sort letters versus numbers. And Yes, this can be done on paper super easily too, but this just adds another element of fun and another way for you to practice to keep it engaging. So I love this one. I've also got in this same type of sort an uppercase and lowercase letter sort that the kids could do. And then this next one has really captured the attention of some of my kiddos who have already know all their letters and they are already really excited about starting to write down these letters and put letters together. And so this one is the missing mat. And so in these squares, those are the missing letters. And so they're going to have to go through the alphabet A, B, what comes next? C. So I've got to find a C. And you'll also notice this kiddo wanted to put the letters on top of the ones that are already there that she found. And so that's why you can kind of see they're a little bit layered because she was finding like the letter L and going ahead and matching it to that and then filling in those missing letters. And for some of our kiddos, this is something they can do independently and something they love to do because they're already so interested in letters. And so that's a fun one. I also have a numeral one of these that they can fill in missing numerals. And that's awesome too. These little tiny letters are from Coloration and they come in a little bag and they're pretty small. So if you are working with younger kids, they may not be the best thing, but I do like them. They work really well and there's a lot of them. And so they can even start like spelling their name with them and things like that because there are so many of them. And I know you can get those on Amazon as well. And then this next one is fine motor lines. So these are those translucent pumpkins I was telling you about. I just got them at the craft store during the fall. They were called table scatter. I'm not real fancy as far as setting up a table, so I guess you just put those in the middle of the table to make them look beautiful, but honestly, they work really good on the light table. So this one is just lines. You could either have them use a dry erase marker and follow the lines on the light table, or you can have them line up a manipulative like these pumpkins on the line and basically really strengthen those fine motor muscles to get them where they need to go. And you could do this with basically any of the manipulatives you have. I also didn't grab a picture of it, but at the craft store during Christmas time, there are always these like little tiny light bulbs that go inside of those ceramic trees, which my grandma made us when we have one. But they're like replacement bulbs and they're translucent. And so they work amazing on these. And it's hard, like they roll. And so it's quite a challenge to get them on the line where you want them to go. So you can definitely step up the challenge of these fine motor mats by providing different sizes of manipulatives. And so that's what I like about these. So that's number 6. Those are fine motor lines. And then paths. My children are really loving mazes. And while this is not a maze, they think it is. And so I didn't necessarily want the challenge, the mental challenge of the maze, right? Because that's not what we were doing. I was wanting them to try to use those fine motor skills to line them up. And as you can see, not all of them are lined up here. We've got a green one and a red one that have kind of come out of place, and it's not as easy as it looks. This is some pretty small table scatter that I got. It was just like a variety pack, but I love these tiny little stars. They're little, and so when I was doing this with them, I was having a hard time holding on to it. And so definitely a challenge. I have different mazes. They can for sure use a dry erase marker to try to stay in between the maze. But I love this extra scaffold for those really small manipulatives to use on your light table. So again, those little light bulbs for Christmas would be perfect on here. And these are perfect. I can't remember what season I even got these from. I don't know if they're just stars. I'm not sure. But I know they were from the craft store and they were all in their own little, they're all mixed up in there. But they make great, great path manipulatives. And we're just working on those fine motors to try to get those pieces to stay. And, it's fun. It's fun because then they get to reach the end and they think they've reached the end of the maze, even though it's not necessarily a maze. And then I added some shape tracing. And so these obviously could be used with dry erase markers, but you could definitely use different kinds of manipulatives too. These are just squares, different colored squares. So they're using the squares to go around it. This is great for a shape small group because you're there going, oh, you're using, oh, look, let's see how many you use to create the rectangle. And you're saying the name of the shape over and, over and over again. Oh, look, you did all three sides of this triangle. And you would definitely use them that way. Definitely just set them out as something that the kids could use their manipulatives on to work on shapes and fine motor. So I have those for shapes, and then I also did them for numerals and letters. This is the numeral one. These were from spring last year. There's some butterflies, some flowers, and I think there were some little tiny eggs in there. And they can just take those manipulatives and work on lining them up over the shape of the numerals or letters. And again, great small group because you can be right there building with them, playing with them, but providing them the vocabulary that they need so that they know that this shape is a 2 and we can count 2, right? So that's an option. And then my last one they love, and they seem to catch on to this very quickly, are pattern mats. And these are translucent ones that I found on Amazon, and I love them. I use them in my fine motor tubs as well, but there was a lot of them in there. There's quite a bit in there, and so I knew that I could use them for this too. And so this is basically just a a mat of an elephant, and they're going to place their pattern block on top. And I was very interested to see, sometimes it was a struggle on how to rotate them. It was like, well, this one won't fit here though, even though it's the blue one. And even though it's the blue, and I said, yes, the blue rhombus, yes, it won't fit there because they had it standing up, right? They needed to turn it. And this is that one up by the elephant's head. And it was interesting to watch because that problem solving was at work. Like, how am I going to make this fit? It's supposed to be this one, but it's not working. And so what could we do? Could we turn it? Could we flip it? And so they're learning those beginnings of geometry, of turning and flipping shapes. And so that's why this is more powerful than it looks from the outside. And we also can talk about shape names as they're building, right? Oh, you used 2 triangles on his trunk. Where else was there a triangle? Oh, there's 2 more down here. So you used, let's count them, 4 triangles. So many great things can be learned from all of these mats and all these activities. And especially if you're there playing with them, maybe in a small group, or just sending it out for them to explore on their own. There's a ton more mats that I created, but these are just 10. And I love it, love it, love it, love it so far. It's been amazing. It's added that extra thing that I knew I needed in my light table center to just kind of guide them and kind of show them a way to use these. I love this too because after I sat down with a group of kiddos and we did some of these pattern block mats, then one asked me when we were finished, can I do it on my own? Of course you can. And so we took the mat off and she was able to create some amazing things with those pattern blocks. And it was awesome to watch how she manipulated the shapes to make them all fit together. And so it kind of acted as that stepping stone to, oh, now I see what these do. I can do something on my own and I can make something on my own. So that was pretty cool to see. If you want to learn more about these pattern mats and kind of how they work, what all they cover, I will leave a link in the comments. I will tell you I did use on all these pictures, they all have transparency sheets is what I believe they were called on Amazon. I had an inkjet printer, so I bought transparency sheets for the inkjet printer. And I will say they do, I like the see-throughness of them, but plain copy paper works just fine too. I actually compared the two, and I have a picture of them in the preview of the light table file games on my Teacher Pay Teacher store. So if you go there, you click the link and you click preview, you can kind of see. I've got some ideas for manipulatives there, and I've also got some the comparison photo of using that translucent transparency paper versus the regular copy paper. And so is not necessary. You definitely can use it with just plain paper. I wanted to give it a whirl and see because I thought it might add a little bit of extra, but I really honestly don't know that they'll know the difference or care. Um, so totally works totally well. I love it, love it, love it because it is exactly what I needed for my students to kind of take the light table to the next level. So, if you have any ideas for light table manipulatives that you have tried or activities you've done on the light table, please drop them in the comments below. I'm always looking for new ideas, exciting ideas. Share with other teachers all these great ideas so they can use them too. And I will see you next week. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.